We were there several hours, and the doctor came out of the emergency room and said he's going to be fine. He's young, he's strong, he's going to be fine. And he died that night.
Hello. Gold teeth and a curse of this town were all in my mouth. Only I don't know how they got out, dear.
A heroin problem that many say has been swept under the rug.
100,000 doses of heroin.
Bring a drug bust that happened in Indy today.
Yeah, I mean, he had the spoon on one lap, lighter on the other, and the needle in his hand.
Huge drug ring here in Indianapolis is now talking with Eyewitness News.
Waking up? Are you coming out of it?
In Lake County, Indiana, the number of heroin deaths rivals the number of homicides so far this year.
In the car, you see the syringe laying on the floorboard, or even still stuck in their arm.
Wake up!
Dawn breaks like a bolt through the hall. Never should have called, but my head's to the wall, and I'm lonely. And if you took to me,
I had 3 children at one time, and Max died when he was 2, and Jake died in 2013, and so now there's Carson. Jake was a really vibrant, active child, very intelligent, very intelligent, very inquisitive. He was kind of a Renaissance man, so to speak. He loved music and art and sports and math and science. He was very well-rounded. I felt like we were heading down a problematic path right after Max died. He actually found his brother's body when he died. So he developed post-traumatic stress disorder. And that led to beginning using drugs. He also became addicted to opioids after he broke his wrist. Jake turned to heroin when it was easier to buy heroin than it was to get painkillers, Vicodin and those types of things. And I know he got it at school. I know there were several kids selling it at school. And he knew lots of people doing it.
So are people starting with painkillers that leads them into heroin? I know in Indiana that's absolutely true, right? We have a lot of opioid prescriptions going out. Indiana definitely has a high rate of those that we see. Now, what happens when you can't get that opioid prescription filled anymore, right? Well, people still need to maintain. It's less about getting high in people that are totally addicted. It's more about maintaining their day-to-day life, able to function, right? So that is usually what leads them on to heroin then, because it's cheap and it's easy to get.
My name is Justin Phillips, and I'm the Executive Director and founder of Overdose Lifeline. We're an Indiana-based nonprofit trying to address broadly the stigma associated with the chronic disease of addiction, but primarily right now the opioid epidemic. Aaron was my middle son. He was 20 years old when he overdosed on heroin in October of 2013. Aaron, growing up, was attached to sports, and everything for him was about sports. Very athletic, very sensitive, very big heart, always very empathetic to his friends, always taking up for the underdog. I can venture to bet that there was some experimentation with prescription drugs And I know that he had also been legitimately prescribed them.
Jake and Aaron were friends. They were friends for a long time. Jake was not one to rat out his friends, so to speak. And the first time he saw Aaron at his dealer, he did. And it really bothered Jake. It made him very upset that Aaron had started using.
These are the words I remember. Aaron didn't seem to belong there, and Jake did not want Aaron there. And Jake wanted somebody to stop Aaron from being there. When Jake overdosed, Aaron went to see Jake in the hospital by his own choice, and that was after Aaron had been to treatment and was currently at that time clean. And I'll never forget the conversation Aaron and I had about Jake. He said to me, "Mom, you know, Jake died and I'm gonna live." And he really believed that, and he meant that, you know, and we talked about that. Sometimes that has to happen. And that's so tragic, but it's a motivator for us. I guess he forgot. I don't know.
I'm sure there was a point where he couldn't get through a day without getting high. He was so sick at a certain point, and that's how I view it. He was sick. He was very ill, and that it wasn't fun and pleasurable at that point to be an addict, but physically he needed it. We searched out treatment after treatment after treatment after treatment for Jake, and what we ran into as a family were cost and insurance, and still we went.
Is drug addiction a disease? Yes, without a doubt. You have to remember, this is a chemical process in the brain, right? So it's altering the chemical processes. So in that sense, yes, it is a disease. I think given the epidemic proportions that we're seeing, we need more treatment centers. There are waiting lists to get in treatment centers. And if people are ready to quit, we want to grab them at that time and get them into treatment before they have an opportunity to use again or to change their mind. We really want to have that availability to take this person and get them into a treatment center when they say they're ready.
Hey, my name is Ashley Sorrell. I am Program Director at Pathway to Recovery. I actually am an alumni of the program. I came to Pathway in July of 2014. Basically, I had been running from the law, went on a high-speed chase with the police. I was on home detention. I had cut my home detention bracelet off, all because I wanted to support my heroin addiction. So when I got to Pathway after a choice of prison or recovery, I chose recovery, and I've been here ever since. Pathway to Recovery is a supportive housing program for individuals who are overcoming substance abuse and mental illness. Pathway is one of 3 programs in Indianapolis that do not require you to have financial resources when you come in the door. So the fact that I didn't have any money, I didn't have anything to my name. I didn't even have, all the clothes that I had were the clothes that I was wearing. Everyone who works here is in recovery. So the fact that there were people who had more sobriety than me, they had shared similar circumstances with me, and they were willing to, put out a hand and say, you're not going to go through this alone. Like, we're committed to helping you get through this.
When I arrived at heroin, it was different. I've heard people say that methamphetamine takes a person's soul, but to me, the heroin took my soul away. I wound up here at Pathway. It's a great place, and I am going through the process to rebuild my life. They found me, really. It was a blessing. It was a godsend blessing for me, because I had totally lost everything about myself. At one time I was a good husband, a good father, and through my drug addiction, it took all that away from me. Or actually, I gave it all away. It didn't take it, I gave it. It feels like a family here. Something in this house, it's the people, it's everybody in here, but it fills up the empty spot inside my soul.
So Aaron's Law, which was signed by Governor Pence in 2015, removed the barrier to acquiring the overdose reversal drug, naloxone. So prior to Aaron's Law, we needed a prescription. And now you can just go to a pharmacy and say you need some naloxone and they will give it to you.
So is Aaron's Law a positive change? Absolutely, 100% without a doubt. So from 2003 until 2000, I believe 13, so in 10 years, the number of heroin overdose deaths have quadrupled. If we have this ability to prevent those deaths, we should do that. Again, that's a form of harm reduction. You know, there's a lot of people that believe, why, you know, if this person wants to die or if they injected drugs, good on them, right? Who cares about them? That's not the appropriate attitude. Again, harm reduction is, can we save this individual's life? Yes, we should. And yes, we can.
I hope that Jake's death was not totally in vain. I hope that other kids might hear of it or see it or watch it and make different choices. And I hope that other parents would be able to reach out to other people and get some support.
If you could talk to somebody who was in a similar position as you, or maybe hasn't found recovery yet, or isn't quite ready for it yet, what advice would you give them?
I'm still new in the recovery, so I'm not confident in knowing that I have good advice to give to anyone. But, you know, I would just have to tell them to do it before it's too late, you know, because you never know the things that you're going to lose in this life. I lost a mother going through my addiction, and I wish she could have seen me clean, you know. So I would have them definitely do something before it's too late. Get help. Get help.